Governor John Duncan is using his constitutional powers to compel the Dr. D. Orlando Smith administration to give the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, RVIPF, more cash in a hastily called press conference immediately following the National Security Council NSC meeting on March 16, 2017. Mr. Duncan said he could not sit by and allow requests made for additional funds of some $800,000 since November to cover equipment, personnel and training costs to continue unheeded. The move by the governor also follows news that 2 murders were committed in separate incidents on March 10, 2017, bringing the number of homicides recorded so far for the year to 3. The governor, who has oversight responsibility for the force, says the monies which will be drawn from the consolidated fund have previously been instructed to be turned over to the RVIPF by Premier Dr. D. Orlando Smith, but he cannot comprehend why this instruction has not been executed by Financial Secretary Neil Smith and the Treasury.
I've just come from the National Security Council, where I've been meeting with the members of the Council to discuss the shortfall in funding of the Royal Virgin Islands Police. And after a long discussion, I have informed the Premier that I am not prepared to allow this situation to continue. The budget is short, in its operational budget is short of where it should be. In terms of 2012, it was 800,000 more than it currently is. We are facing serious challenges in criminality. We have a good commissioner who needs our support, and I am therefore invoking Section 103 of the Constitution, which allows the governor to authorise that expenditure. I shall also be monitoring that expenditure closely because it will be under my authorisation, because one of the big problems we've had is the failure to disperse funds. The Premier has repeatedly issued instructions for funds to be dispersed, and they are not being dispersed. It's never been clear to me why, when instructions are given by the Premier, agreed by the National Security Council, they go down to the Financial Secretary and the Treasury, and when we come to present invoices, or RVIPF present invoices, there's no money. And this is happening far too often, and it cannot be allowed to continue.
The governor, who only last month slammed the government for its consistent slashing of the RVIPF's budget since 2012, failure to effectively allocate monies from its coffers, and tardiness in passing legislation such as the Freedom of Information Act, Data Protection Act, Whistleblower Act, and establishing a Human Rights Council, states that while he regrets taking this route, he doesn't understand why there is such sluggishness in allocating monetary resources as the BVI isn't facing a financial crisis.
People are putting in invoices and they're not getting paid for months. There is no financial crisis in the budget of this territory. There's no reason why these monies cannot be dispersed quickly. The Premier has been working hard to make sure that that is fixed, but it's still not fixed. And in this area of internal security, I'm not prepared to allow that to continue. I regret it because I don't see it the role of the governor to intervene in this manner. I'm forced to do so because that's my responsibility. But my role has been throughout the last 2.5 years to encourage the government to take its responsibility, and that's in many different areas where people have called on me to do things, and I've said no, this is a responsibility of the government and they should do it because this is a modern society.
Governor Duncan says while Premier Smith was willing to take emergency action to address his concerns, he was forced into action because he does not want his successor, who takes over in 5 months, to be faced with the same circumstances.
I did say to him that as we are changing governor in August of this year, I am not prepared to leave this matter to drift. I wish to have a decision so it is clear for the new governor to take forward. It's a great regret to me that I have had to do this because I have supported the territory in many of the debates against the things that the United Kingdom wanted to do, like the public register. I have supported the territory in getting things changed in the Constitution, such as junior ministers, the overdraft facility. I've maintained consistently that it is for the territory to take responsibility, not for the governor to intervene. But in the current circumstances, with great regret, I've had to invoke Section 103, and I will be doing that in the next 24 hours. You can imagine they are not best pleased, but we are professionals and we work together.
During his appearance in February at the Standing Finance Committee, which examined the 2017 estimates of expenditure, Commissioner of Police Michael Matthews stated that the operational funding provided to the force for 2017 was lower than that of 2012, equating to a 37% reduction, which did not include pay and emoluments.